Welcome back to Scouching's 2024 Prospect Pyramid Review Series, and today we're looking at the LA Kings. What we do in these videos is basically look at all the prospects in an NHL team system and tier them together and make little groups and have a bird's eye view of how they look going into a new season. But before we get into it, we need to look at exactly what I mean by prospect and what these tiers mean. A prospect is a player who is within 5 years of their first NHL draft eligibility, and they haven't been on an NHL roster for more than one full season. In terms of the tiers, we start at franchise level, which is a player you absolutely do not want to live without. You have them forever, and they are iconic players to your franchise. At the core category, you have players that are extremely important, and they're on your team forever playing premier roles. Then you go down to your depth category, which is your second, third, fourth line, everyday NHL role players who you like having around, and they're just useful, dependable NHL players. Beneath that, you have your maybes category, which are players that may have a lot of upside, but some question marks, or maybe a little more limited upside, but may not have quite enough to get to the NHL one day, but in general, they're maybes in this category. And then you have everybody else, which is exactly what it sounds like. And the LA Kings over the years have done a pretty decent job of amassing a lot of really intriguing talent. The weird graduation for me this past season was Alex Laferriere, who made his way to the NHL full-time last season, so good for him. But we start at the depth category, which for me has 3 players in Liam Greentree, Brandt Clarke, and Jakub Dvorak. Now, it might seem a little weird to see Jakub Dvorak here, but I am really positive on his ability to potentially become a third-line NHL defenseman with good defensive habits and maybe a little bit more limited offense, but some good upside to work with. Brandt Clarke has been taking step after step, then I imagine he'll be a full-time NHLer this year. He did look pretty good in the NHL minutes that I did see this past season, but since he hasn't played a full season with the Kings, he's still on this list. And I thought Liam Greentree was a phenomenal pick where they took him. It was just a really high upside value swing for them, and I would have probably done the same thing if I were them and his name was coming up. I would not have been against it at all. Super skilled, lots of projectable traits, just needs a bit of time to work on his pace and his skating ability to really become high-end NHL quality, but I do think he could get there. The maybes category for LA is also pretty big. You've got some interesting names in here like Otto Janssen, Jack Hughes, Cohen Zemer, and Matthew Mania, who bring a lot of really good skill. I've been curious about Jared Woolley whenever I've seen him with London this past year. And in net, you've got Carter George and Hampton Slukinski. Slukinski backstopped one of the best teams in the USHL last year in Fargo and looked really good doing it. Carter George had a really great under-18 and a pretty good season with Owen Sound last year, and I think both of these goaltenders have a shot at becoming NHL quality in the future. Beneath them, you have everybody else, and this is just a lot of older players that already kind of have developed quite a lot and still look like they have a bit of a ways to go, and I might be surprised to see them make the NHL, but it is not impossible. A guy like Samuel Helenius maybe could fill out the bottom end of an NHL roster at some point. Kirill Kirsanov, you could say the same. But guys like Kasper Samontoval, Martin Chromiak, Francesco Pinelli, these are just guys that I feel like have stagnated a little bit, and projecting them to the NHL might be a little bit difficult from here. Like I said, it's not impossible, but I think this is where things stand in general with the LA Kings. Overall, considering they're a pretty talented NHL roster, I think they've done pretty well. And with that, we're through the LA Kings. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. And if you really liked it, go to Scouching.ca, where a subscription will get you early access to our content, exclusive written work as well, and plenty of access to data tables for drafted and undrafted prospects, cool visualizations, and all kinds of other fun stuff you can check out at Scouching.ca. And with that, we're done with the LA Kings, and next we're going to be looking at the New York Rangers.